Hello Kingdom Hearts fans. For today's video, I wanted to answer a question that absolutely no one is asking, but people would like to know the answer to. How many times do we need to use the reaction command to complete Kingdom Hearts 2? This isn't necessarily a challenge run, but a run to see the least amount of times needed to press the reaction command button. I've debated with myself if I wanted to do this, but I decided the world needs to know. And I have nothing better to do on my weekend than try to answer that question. Just so we are all on the same page, a reaction command means that we have to press the triangle button. For Xbox players, that would be the Y button. Before I start, there is something that I should say first. There are non-battle reaction commands and battle reaction commands. Non-battle reaction commands are obviously used when you aren't fighting, such as when you talk to NPCs, open chests, save the game, get on the skateboard, land in a new world, etc. All of these I will be counting, so no, I cannot use a save point ever throughout my playthrough. I can only stand on it to refill HP and MP. Not to worry though, when you are in the gummy ship, if you pause the game you can save, so I won't have to complete the game in one sitting. Battle reaction commands are obviously the commands that I'll use in battle, and these will be counted. These will include but are not limited to doing reversals to nobodies, rising sun in the Thousand Heartless fight, throwing Axel back into the flame, and so many more. Don't worry, I will be keeping a separate tally for both the in-battle and non-battle reaction commands. So what I count as using a reaction command is pressing the button once. So this scene with Axel constitutes me using the reaction command 4 times as I press the button 4 times. I know, big stuff going on for this channel. I'm also going to try my best to not use limits. If I do use limits, I won't use the reaction command part of the limit. This part is what I'll use, not this part. I mainly use Knock Smash for the invincibility, so don't go crazy guys. I'm also playing on beginner so Sora can take more damage, as this will be invaluable since we need to tank a lot of damage, since we can't use reaction commands. This will also minimize my deaths and hopefully make enemies take more damage. Plus I don't like a challenge. I'm playing Kingdom Hearts without pressing a button, not Dark Souls with a dance pad. So after that lengthy introduction, let's get into it. I'm gonna go super quick. Spoiler alert, there's over 100 of these reaction commands I'll be counting. So literally as we start the game, we have to talk to this old woman, making this our first mandatory non-battle reaction command. Get used to it. Choose your weapon to fight Cypher. Capturing this nobody. This is the only save point that I will use since we have to use it to progress the game. So the game says that you need 800 money. You don't, you just need to do one job. I did Grandstander since I like to hit things. With the money, go talk to Hainer to then have it stolen. Choose whichever weapon here. I picked the sword since I'm cool. You must then open this chest. For Twilight Thorn, this part you actually don't need to use reaction commands to beat him. Just tank all the damage. He's actually pretty hard on beginner, as you'll spend a while waiting for him to bend over. But you can beat him without hitting reaction commands, or RCs. Oh yeah, I'll say RCs for reaction commands now, it's easier. Also, I really just wanted to show what happens if you fail the reaction commands. Now it's time to struggle. So there's one RC to hear the rules on how to struggle, 1 to fight Hainer, 1 to fight Vivi, and lastly 1 to fight Seltzer. Time for the investigation team to do stuff. You need to press an RC to have the balls in the wall start, and once more to end it. 1 to go in the sewer to fight Vivi, 1 to fight Shadow Roxas in the waterfall, 1 to start the dog in the bag, and 6 to actually get the dog to calm down in the bag. I'm going to count this as a non-battle reaction since Roxas runs like he's not in a fight. Whilst I'm already here, check out my video on Twilight Town facts for KH3. There is something special about this mountain on this hill. I'm sure there's at least one thing in the video that will surprise you guys. Beating Axel without using RCs isn't hard, but it's not as easy as you'd think, even for a beginner. You're going to wait a few times for him to finish his invincibility moves though. And we are finally done with Roxas. It only takes 23 mandatory RCs to finish this tutorial. Good job guys. Before we finish Twilight Town, go talk to Donald. We are now at Yensid's tower. Don't read the book, just talk to him. Talk to the fairies to change your clothes in front of them because they need to see a naked Sora. Now that we are in the gummy ship, we can finally save our game. This is the only place we'll get to do it, as we can't save in worlds. It takes a whole reaction command to simply land in worlds. Hollow Bastion will be the first, so this is quite the accomplishment for the level. For this level, there is no reason to use any RCs. As for the gummy ship, you need to press the reaction commands to do Stardust Sweep. Whilst we're already at it, we'll do Asteroid Sweep, and now we have to press it again to land in the Land of Dragons. You'll have to talk to Mulan's boyfriend 3 times, one for the surprise attack mission, one for the ambush mission, and one for the search mission. And finally, we have our first battle reaction command for the game, and we have to use it twice on this rock wall. Well, there's a second rock wall, and a third rock wall, so there are 3 walls that we have to destroy. So at my first grade mathematics skills and the power of my graphing calculator, that's 6 times we have to press the reaction commands. I tried my best, but we can't get rid of it by hitting it. Shan Yu does not require us to use any reaction commands to beat him. Literally just let him push Sora back. I don't know why, but this is so funny to me. Yet another gummy ship RC for Phantom Storm. Now we can land in Beast's castle. First we must move the wardrobe. This part, guys, perhaps we can get it to be a lower number, but I was only able to get it to 19 reaction command presses. I'd like to know if you guys can get it to be lower, but anyways, I got mines to be 19. I'm not sure what the minimum number of RCs are for this part. For example, when I hit the triangle button 6 times or 60 times in 1 second for my controller, Sora will only move the wardrobe 1 foot. That being said, I think this number might be able to be lessened, though I'll still stand by my 19, as that's how low I could get it. And finally, we are back to using the actual battle reaction commands. For the door boss, there's no way to kill him until you release him to come out, and you'll have to do it twice. For the Mrs. Potts minigame, you'll have to sprinkle her 3 times. The beast fight adds a whopping 13 to the counter. This is the lowest I think it can be, but I'd like to see someone else do a run like this to compare notes. Basically the same problem as with the wardrobe, as I'm not sure what actually counts for this battle. Cogsworth might only make 1 light beam appear if I hit the reaction command once or 50 times. Now in Belle's room, we have to approach the wardrobe. I am happy to report that it is 100% possible to beat the Dark Ball without pressing a single reaction command. This fight will take a lot longer than usual, but it is possible. When Dark Ball grows some legs and a body and arms, you can also beat him without hitting the reaction command button. The best part is that for the entire fight he is invisible and only becomes visible when you beat him. Now we are transferred to Hollow Bastion as the ship lands itself there, and it takes 1 RC to enter the Pooh book, 1 to greet Pooh. After that, we are thrown outside to do a fight and automatically sent back to the book. So no RC, but we have to greet Pooh again for 1 more RC. We are magically teleported out of the world when we are done, so we can continue our journey by landing in Olympus Coliseum. Literally as we land, we have to help Meg up. I tried to not help her, but Sora doesn't have the heart. It is not needed to use any of the RCs for Cerberus, just tank damage, and whatever you do, try not to fall onto his heads. This sequence will play over and over. I watched Sora falling like 5 times until I realized that this will keep playing forever. Now you train with Phil, the Maniac edition of Training with Phil. Approach Hercules. There's actually a good amount of RCs where we have to just approach characters in the game. Okay, so Demix? I'm not sure if this can be done without hitting a reaction command. I couldn't do it. I ended up using a total of 8 RCs to beat him. I'm not sure if it can be done with less than 8, so you guys can try that. That's my unofficial challenge to the KH community. Please beat this guy without any RCs. After that, we take a break with a non-battle RC and free Meg. You don't have to use any RCs to beat Pete. And now it's time for the Hydra. You must cut the first head. If you don't, it will regenerate. So that's a must. Also, look at this. This guy is ugly. This is the best part. The meme of getting on the Hydra's back doesn't exist anymore. You can cut all heads without having to get on the Hydra's back. And that's 3 reaction commands. When he starts going crazy with his heads, just go to the back and wait it out. Seriously, just stand there and think about your life decisions to beat this game. No need to do a Pegasus run. Lastly, you must vanquish all the heads to beat the boss. You can't wait him out. At least Sora does a cool pose in the air. Landing in Disney Castle takes 1 RC to do. There is also one to approach Minnie. For the mini walk, this is funny. First walk all the way to the door, killing all of the Heartless. Now just walk behind Minnie and have Sora push her into the wall to get to the door. This way, it takes only 1 RC. Same thing for the big throne room. This will take some time. Kill everyone in the room and then just push Minnie all the way to the throne to use the Fate command. I'm glad that Minnie is okay with Sora pushing her like that. After that, we need to talk to Merlin, so we have to use a save point to go back to the gummy ship. Land in Hollow Bastion. Merlin then teleports you back and you must open the door to enter Timeless River with an RC. In here, you have to press another RC to punish Old Time Pete. So for the boss fight with Pete on the boat, this is how the first part is supposed to be done. But there's something else you can do. I didn't know that we could do this, but when he throws the objects at Sora, if you hit one of the objects just right, you won't have to use an RC. That means Sora only needs to use 1 of the RCs instead of 2. You'll have to do this 5 times to make the boat come to shore. After that, it takes 1 RC to grab the fishing line, and 2 RCs to hold on to the fishing line when he tries to throw you off. Sorry to break this news to you guys, we won't have any Finny fun in Atlantica. We clear the gummy ship mission for Floating Island, and now we enter Port Royal, and we're going to do some talking. Talk to Will to board the ship, talk to Jack to go to the Black Pearl, talk to Will again on the ship. Someone please say something about this in the comments. When we have to defend the medallion, is this on a timer or do we have to kill a certain amount of enemies? I'm still not sure about this, but whatever the case, you don't have to fire the cannons at the attacking ship. It'll take 5 reaction commands to knock over the burning barrels. Something we cannot avoid as far as I know. No RCs are needed for Barbossa though. We are now done with Port Royal, so go back to the gummy ships. It takes 1 RC to do Ancient Highway. And then it takes another RC to do Broken Highway. I just don't like the gummy ship missions, so I get them out of the way. And of course 1 more to land in Agribot. Now in the Cave of Wonders, you must look at the crystal hole, and it took me 8 RC presses with Abu. Honestly, I think this could be done in 7 reaction command presses, but I couldn't get anything below 8. After that, there is 1 RC to activate this challenge, and 1 to end the challenge, and that's it for the level. I would actually recommend to not use an RC for the Blizzard dude, and the Fire dude is just annoying, at least on beginner. I'm sure Critical has something that will mess us up. Otherwise, easy bosses. We do a quick detour in Twilight Town for Limit Form, and then we can land in Halloween Town. Jack's weapons is scary, saying it out loud. Bone Fist. Now, you move from Halloween Town to Christmas Town. Honestly, that's it for the level, until we meet Oogie Boogie. I hope that this part upsets you guys because it upsets me. The boss fight will ruin whatever minimalist run you thought you wanted to do. You have to knock 12 presents into Oogie's lift. After that, you whack him a bit. For the second phase of the fight, you'll have to knock 12 more presents into Oogie's lift. Be careful though, the 9th present is usually a fake and a Heartless comes out. In the third phase, you'll have to do 2 more conveyor belt swaps, and that'll take another 12 RC presses to get Oogie Boogie down. I actually don't think that it's possible to do it with less reaction commands unless Oogie decides to not change conveyor belts, or there is some way to not throw 12 presents in. Use the gummy ship and go to the Sunlight Storm gummy mission. Now we can land in Pride Lands. This is my favorite level, solely because you just need to cheer up Simba. That's it, like finally. You can just tank the damage from Scar, but he should be easy to go down anyways. And we don't have to come back here for a second visit, so we don't have to deal with this clown. Back in Hollow Bastion, you'll have to land before we can start round 2 of the game. Then, you'll have to approach Leon. And we are done. In Space Paranoids, you must freeze this door. And I hope that you're ready for this, as we're going to access various computers now. So we start by accessing this computer to start the minigame. Access this computer to return to Hollow Bastion. Now you'll examine the wall. Now access the computer to return to Tron's world. Now access the database computer. Now we are forced to freeze the screen, and you'll have to do it 3 times. You can beat the final boss in Tron's World without the reaction command. It's just much longer, but especially boring, but entirely possible to do. You'll spend a majority of the time just running and getting one hit in. The good thing is that he can't kill us quickly, so this is a battle of attrition if anything. Now you get to leave Tron's World by accessing another computer. And in Hollow Bastion, you try to access yet another computer to return to Tron World, but the game says no. Now for the Demix fight, round 2. It is entirely possible to beat him without using reaction commands this time. Just make sure that you level up Wisdom Form and have a few ethers. Since we can't open chests or go to the Moogle shop, I just took them from all the party members before. As we basically have no items in this run, since we can't open chests or talk to Moogles. The same strategy of spamming fire in his data fight is what I use here, and it works. Make sure that you enter Wisdom Form before the fight though, as every time I tried to do it whilst fighting Demix, Sora always decided to go into Anti-Form.
This is not happening. It can't be happening. It can't.
It's happening, Sora. We just beat Demix. The 1000 Heartless fight is entirely doable without reaction commands, but just longer than it should be. So the first place we go is Land of Dragons, so that's 1 RC for landing. And we really only need to use RCs for the Angry Birds boss fight, and I'm sure that you guys can get this number to be less. For me though, it took 13 reaction commands to beat him. 7 to use the grab on RC, and have lightning make Sora let go when you're on top of him. I did 1 vertigo toss, so that's 2 RCs. I know Sora does multiple hits, but it's really 1 RC to do all the hits. And I did ride the wind 4 times, as he'd inevitably throw me off. I'm sure that you guys can make this better, but this Angry Birds boss was really upsetting me, so I thought 13 was enough. Next we land in Beast's Castle, then we have to approach Beast, then we have to persuade Beast. Finally, for the Zaldin boss fight, the least RCs that I could get was 5. You only need to get 1 learn to make him vulnerable, and I'm certain there's a lot of luck included in getting to 5, but it's doable on beginner. Time to land in Port Royal, where we get to talk to Jack several times in a row. So talk to Jack, then we talk to Zombie Jack again, where we choose to travel to the Death Island, where we can get all 3 remaining medallions here. Now we talk to Jack once more, but this time to go to Port Royal. And it's time for the boss. I ended up replacing the gold medallion 3 times. And doing the hit reaction 3 times, which is 2 button presses, so 6 times. I don't think finishing the reaction command combo is necessary, but I really just wanted to finish fighting this guy. It takes such a long time to beat him. A lot of the time you're going to end up waiting for MP to regenerate, but you're also too afraid to pick up MP bubbles, since he might knock away some of your medallions. Of course, you could just put the medallions in the chest, but then you will have to add an additional RC, which destroys the entire objective of the video. So when he does end up hitting you, you end up losing much more than if he hit you with no medallions. To avoid all of this, I just did the 2 reaction commands. If there's one part of the minimalist RC run that can be optimized, it's this. Okay, so now we can land in Agribot. There's only 1 RC. You don't have to examine the pillar if you know where the switches are. You just have to interrogate the peddler. And that's it. For the Jafar boss fight, it's not necessary to use any reaction commands. Just hit him in the torso and then hit his head and repeat. Now we can land in Halloween Town again. First thing we do is trap 3 innocent children in the boxes. Then, talk to this elf to make the presents. Within the gun minigame, I had to reload the gun 4 times. Then you can talk to the fat man to start the boss fight. So up to doing this run, I always thought you needed to use the kick spring command to beat the boss, but if you run around, the boss will just reassemble into itself. I was also trying to guide it into itself, so maybe it's a proximity thing. Anyways, no RC necessary. And now we do the last gummy ship mission. About time. Land in Twilight Town. Almost done, guys. Tell Pence the password and touch the beam so we can get to the world that never was. Honestly, the Roxas fight is nothing special. I used the tried and true technique of spamming Reflect to win. If you get his Keyblades, just tank the damage when he tries to get them back. For Zigbar, you can beat him without using the RC. This is interesting as I never knew we could do this. If you just keep running around whilst he's in sniper mode, Xigbar will get bored and he'll come after Sora and he will say, "Moving out," and come to fight you on the bottom. So cool.
Moving out!
Similar story for Luxard. No need to use RCs. When he switches to a card, you're supposed to flip it, or you could just attack the right card. For Syax, wait him out. His berserk meter will fall eventually and then you can harm him. This fight is just patience, really. When you're fighting Xemnas, there is no way to avoid this move. You can't harm him either when he decides to do it, so you'll just have to let him zap you. As for when you run up the building, you'll need to tank the damage that he does. And I guess I haven't leveled up enough as he puts Sora all the way down to 1 HP. Did I mention that you'll have to do this twice? Okay, so now we are in the endgame. Level up if you need to, since we have to tank damage in the final boss. Anyways, open the door and just run forward. You don't need to slice the buildings. Easy as that. As for hitting the buildings, the least you can do is 3, but you'll have to run all the way up to the end of the platform. There is no need to stunt dodge if you haven't destroyed enough of the dragon yet. For both sides, just tank the damage as usual. This costs us 2 RCs, one to jump across and one to fight the door boss. After you beat up the door boss, you'll just have to press the RC to proceed. Beating Armored Xemnas 1 doesn't require any RCs. And beating the dragon on the space scooter that is never shown again throughout the series is doable without RCs. Yes, that means we can beat the dragon without using the laser. It just takes a few more minutes. I honestly thought this would have taken a longer time than usual, but the laser does a good amount of damage. The Armored Xemnas 2 fight requires that we hit Riku on the building twice using 2 RC commands each for a total of 4 RCs. So finally, we have to fight Final Zebra Man Xemnas. And there's a big surprise here. So first of all, when he throws you in the air, tank the damage. Having once more helps. Of all the RCs that we don't do, this one feels the worst to do. Riku puts himself in harm's way and Sora does nothing. Anyways, you'll have to save Sora as Riku, so that'll be our last reaction command for the game. You heard me right. When you have to block the laser light show, just let Sora do all the work. Honestly, I was expecting to have to use Riku here, but was very pleased to see this. A word of advice though, and this is the surprise, when you start the laser light show, make sure that Riku's health is fullish. I didn't and failed because Riku didn't have full health, and Riku just decided to T-pose on me when I failed. I guess no one fails this part, as I think this would have been patched out. I'm legitimately curious. Can some of you guys do this and tell me if this glitch happens when you play? This is the most updated version of the game on PS4, so it should work, but I'm just curious. Anyways, with Riku with fullish health, you can just let Sora do all the work and save the 2.
We did it!
Yes indeed, Sora, we did it. And with that, guys, we are finally done with the run. There is a total of 123 non-battle RCs and 142 battle RCs, for a grand total of 265 reaction commands needed to beat the game. Honestly, I'm surprised that the battle and non-battle RCs are so close. I'm sure that there are arguments to be made as to what constitutes a battle and a non-battle reaction command, which is why I have the counters on the screen. But the total is still 265 reaction commands. I'm certain that there are a few places that you might be able to lessen the total RCs, like when we fight Beast, Demix for the first time, the Abu run, and definitely the boss in Port Royal's second visit. Please share your thoughts below, guys, as if you don't know, from all the videos on my channel, I sort of like Kingdom Hearts. Highlights for this run for me was Xigbar saying, "Moving out," and when he gave up on sniping Sora, and T-pose Riku. I honestly didn't expect those. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and please give it a like and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching.
That's it!